Hello, welcome to the Bag Hag Digest. Hello beautiful bag lovers, Trina here. As promised, today I'm going to talk to you a bit about Rebecca Minkoff and my rant with the brand, and also my love for the brand, and a few tips that may help you make the best choices when purchasing from her line. So as you may know, I've been a fan of Rebecca Minkoff bags for quite some time. I have had 9 of her bags over the years and have sold a lot of them based on some of the issues I've had with her. There's a lot of reasons I find that she's a good brand. Oh, hold on, we got a plane. I think some Rebecca Minkoff designs can now be considered classics. For example, there's the Mac bag, which is this one here basically, and it comes in a smaller size. And also her MAB bag, morning, after, before bag, which is basically a satchel type bag, which personally I don't own, but looks good. And she obviously gets inspiration from a lot of other brands, like Chanel specifically. This one here obviously takes inspiration from the Chanel flat bag, and also her Love bag takes inspiration from the boy bag from Chanel. But she also has her own take on things. For example, she has this forward piece here that points. That's very Rebecca Minkoff-esque. I gotta hand it to Rebecca Minkoff for her business sense. She puts out the same style of bags and with new fabrics and leathers and twists, just like a lot of the major companies do. And I think that makes a good business sense. When you have a model that really works, you want to satisfy your customers by putting out different different versions of the same thing so people can collect them in different colors. Also, her prices are pretty accessible to a lot of people, which I'm a fan of. My first tip when buying Rebecca Minkoff bags, or any other bag for that matter, is to think about how well the bag is going to go with what you already own in your collection. Some of those whimsical bags look fantastic, but in reality you never wear them because, you know, neon pink doesn't suit every occasion, and they'll end up collecting dust in your closet. So it's kind of good to stick with what you know works for you, both in terms of looks and functionality. Now let's get into the juicy stuff, which is the quality of Rebecca Minkoff handbags. So Rebecca Minkoff is a mid-range contemporary designer. You can place her products alongside Kate Spade, Tory Burch, Coach, Michael Kors, that kind of thing, which are all pretty good. You know, they're pretty good mid-range prices. They're accessible, yet the quality isn't bad. However, sometimes I don't think Rebecca Minkoff deserves to be placed up there, and there are 3 main reasons for that. First and foremost is the hardware. So this is a chain I took off an old Rebecca Minkoff bag I had. The reason I did that is the second reason, or maybe the third reason that I'm going to talk to you about, but this is the chain. I've taken the threads off. Just want you to listen to this chain. Now this particular one hasn't scratched much because it's gold. If you look close, actually, sorry, it has scratched. But listen to this. Sounds chintzy to me, sounds chintzy. Now compare that with this Stella McCartney clutch. Now I know we're comparing apples and oranges here because this is a much more higher end bag, but the chain on this, there's no chintzy stuff going on. This is a solid chain. It's real. I've had this is a much older bag, and there is no damage on here whatsoever compared to this other bag I had. So the chain quality, it's light, feels aluminum-esque. And the second point about the chain is the chipping that I mentioned. If you're gonna buy a Rebecca Minkoff bag, be aware that, you know, it's not top of the line chain. Stick to the silver hardware or stick to the gold is not so bad, but I've noticed that the oil slick coating and the gunmetal coating chips. So yeah, we're not talking those metals through and through. I think they probably are aluminum based and they're all coated. I can't speak for all the bags, only the ones that I've had, but I don't think the chains are spectacular quality. Now the second point with Rebecca Minkoff is the leather. The leather generally is okay, I think, but I'd stick with darker colors overall if you want your bags to last, and I would avoid anything that's coated with, you know, that lame or sparkly stuff because it does wear off. And this doesn't apply only to Rebecca Minkoff, but I had a gold lame one, and it only took a few wears for the outside coating or whatever it was they had on to start peeling off. And if you're paying, you know, a sum of money for a bag, you don't want it to last just a couple of wears. So I would recommend staying away from anything that might peel or flake off like that. Stick with the dark colors, and also the color transfer. The light bags do collect a lot of color very easily. So not a fan of certain parts of her leather or leather dyeing processes. But the dark bags, especially like this bag here, this one is quite old, from, well worn. I got it secondhand. It's from, I think, 2011. And this is great, no problems here. And the gold is indeed scratched and slightly chipped, but because it's gold, it's pretty okay. I'm quite pleased with this one. And the third point I want to talk about with Rebecca Minkoff is the stitching. And again, on the bags that I have currently in my collection now, I don't see any major problem with the stitching, but particularly in the Love bag, which looks like the boy bag from Chanel, I have a video on that particular model, which I did sell, so I'll put a link to that, and actually I'll put a link to all the Rebecca Minkoff bags in my collection that I have reviewed, and you can see that. But the stitching, not in the one that I sold, but in a previous Love bag that I did own, I found that the stitching was a bit dodgy. It seemed to fray a lot. It didn't come out per se, but it did fray a lot easily, and I could see that it just wasn't very intricate. And yeah, that's a minus point. So these are, when you buy a more luxurious high-end model like a Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Prada, whatever, these really expensive bags, these are the points that you're paying for. The quality of the leather, the craftsmanship, the quality of the chains, all of that stuff put together in a nice package. So Rebecca Minkoff is good, but be careful when you're making decisions about buying her brand or any other mid-range brand, because I don't think, if you make the wrong choices, you might be disappointed in a relatively short time. So that's all I wanted to rant about today. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Thumbs up if you liked the video. Please subscribe, put that alarm bell on, and we'll see you in the next video. Bag Hag signing out.